Welcome back to another episode of The Perspective. I am your host, Brooklyn 80s, and I got a special guest here with me today. I got someone who I've been watching for a while. I came across a few months ago when I was searching on YouTube, and I came across her videos, and I thought the stuff that she was talking about was really interesting. So I was trying to link up with her, and we finally put it together. So this is Coach Samika Jones for you guys. Coach, I'm gonna let you go ahead and just break down a little bit of your background, your history, or what your videos is about, so that people could get to know you a little bit.
For sure. So I am a basketball lifer. I got a late start in the game, so I ain't started playing until I was in the sixth grade. But I played at one of the best high schools in the DMV. Got recruited, played collegiately. After that, tried to be an adult, couldn't be an adult, so I ended up being a college coach. Coached Division I, Division II basketball. When I left my last position, I turned down a coaching job and decided to start a business where I do athlete life coaching and I do camps and clinics, and I really try to teach the game at a high clip. One of the things I struggled with, especially at my D2 school, was having kids that were ready to compete at that college level, right? So you get kids that can score, they can fill a bucket up, but they don't understand the game. The IQ isn't there. So
Right.
it kind of focuses on making sure that our skill and our IQ matches. And from that, I started sharing all the stuff I was teaching online, and that kind of led to YouTube and everything else. And it's just growing from there.
Facts. Like I said, her videos is fire. So, definitely if it's your first time seeing her, subscribe to her. She definitely got some interesting videos about teaching the game of basketball. So coach, what's your thoughts? Just like a overview or synopsis, we about to get into it. So what's your thoughts so far this tournament? What have you been anything surprised you, or anything like you excited about, anybody like what's
The tournament to me is doing exactly what we've all seen all year. It's following the course of the games that we've watched all season. Like there's nobody in the Sweet 16 that shouldn't be, that hasn't worked for it all year. Like the most surprising thing is Juju going down.
that's a fact.
Outside of Juju going down, like it looks the way that I think we all thought it would look, right?
Mhm.
Which is kind of what you hope for.
Yeah, this is one of those years, and you correct me if I'm wrong. I'm new, so you just said you're a lifer. I'm new to women's basketball. I've been a fan of college for about, this is like my third season, give or
Okay.
take, and this is I'm going into my second season of the WNBA, being a fan, and so what it seems like, so correct me if I'm wrong. What it seems like to me is this is one of those years that, and it's anybody's year. Like anybody, you can have your picks, you got your favorites, but it seemed like you got like three or four teams that could win it, and you won't be surprised. You get what I'm saying?
For sure. So I'll say this. I'm not really sure about the men's side, definitely on the women's side, right? Basketball comes in waves. The talent level comes in waves. So you have about 5 to 7 really good years of talent in women's basketball, and then we got 5 to 7 years where it's down, and then it goes back up.
Okay.
It's been like that my whole life. That's kind of how that wave goes. And right now we are in, I mean, even with all the talent we see,
Yeah.
in a down spin, right?
Really? Wow, I didn't expect you to say that. Okay.
These young kids
I
that
feel like this is like the golden era right now.
man, these young kids different.
Yeah,
Man, just
yeah,
watched an eighth grader do some stuff last weekend in the gym that I ain't know eighth graders even knew how to do. These
yeah. No, that's a
kids,
fact. It's evolving. Yeah,
they different.
yeah.
So I mean, I think for the most part, you got a superstar everywhere. I think the talent is balanced, right?
Mhm.
And with that, and with South Carolina with a million McDonald's All Americans being so young, uh, it kind of balances out. It is definitely one of them years, and it's going to be like that next year. And it was like that last year, right? I mean, even with Don going undefeated, we didn't know what Camila Cardozo was going to do. Like, she was one of
Yeah.
the toughest players, but one of the most inconsistent
That's
players.
a fact. That's a fact.
Like, I think that's just kind of where we are right now. And it'll change in a couple more years where you'll see a dominant powerhouse again. You'll see a UConn or a Tennessee or a South Carolina again.
Got you. Got you. All right. So, let's get into it. Let's talk about some of the games that happened in the tournament so far. So we got this game surprised me. I thought, Coach. I thought this game. I thought I know how good Michigan is, so I'm not surprised that they won the game. But I thought that the X factor in this game was going to be Audie Crooks because who could guard Audie Crooks, right? So I figured down the stretch, and she had a good game. So let me not take nothing away from her, but I figured she would be the difference in this game. And obviously, Jordan Hobbs had a career night, and those freshmen stepped up and they ultimately got it done. But this was a good game. This was a good game, and shout out to Michigan for winning it. Um, what's your thoughts on this game?
I think Michigan has been solid all season, right?
Yeah.
Definitely not a deep run in March Madness team, but I think they've played solid all season. And those kids, those freshmen, those rookies, they've stepped up. You've seen, if you watch them all year, you've seen them grow through situations. So the way that they stepped up in this game is not surprising. Now, one of the things that has been disappointing to me from watching Audie Crooks from last year to this year is the box that her coaching staff is put. Like, if you go back and you watch Audie Crooks coming out of high school, like, big kid, right? Plays like she's like super light on her feet. The things that she's able to do, like you don't see her catching, spinning with the fadeaway consistently anymore. You don't see her really driving, getting downhill the way that she was able to. You just see her being a traditional back to the basket post player.
Mm-hmm.
And as much success as she's getting with that, I think they're capping her at 20 to 30 points a game. I think that kid is worth 40 a night if you just let her. But they won't let her be herself.
Yeah.
That kind of hurts. I mean, and look at her. I mean, she can do those things, but it's so much more her bag.
Yeah. And I think also when I looked at the stat sheet from this game, the guards kind of let her down, right? I want to give a shout out to Addie Brooks, if I said her name correctly. She's like a point forward. I didn't know that. I didn't know that about her. Addie Brown, excuse me. I think her name is Addie Brown. She's like a point forward. And she's really good. She had like 8 or 9 assists in this game.
Yeah.
And this was like the game of the forwards, right? Because even though Audie Crooks had the big night at 28, the forward on Michigan State, Jordan Hobbs, she I learned that too about her. I didn't, everybody talk about Maddie Westbelt. And Maddie Westbelt is really good, but I didn't know Jordan Hobbs was this good as well as being like a stretch for. You know what I mean? She's a senior, so she should be going into the draft, and she should help a team with that shooting ability. But when you have Addie Brown on one side and you had Jordan Hobbs on the other side, it was like two different power forwards, two different styles. One was like a stretch, one was a shooter. The other one was like a point forward playmaker. So I thought that was really interesting and really cool to see because, you see that a lot in the men's game, but you don't really see that in the women's game. In the women's game, you see a lot of power players at that forward position. You don't see too many Alyssa Thomases, too many playmaking power forwards. So I thought that was at least me being a new fan. Let me just say that because maybe it's been a lot of them and I just haven't seen them.
Yeah, that they changed it. That changed probably when I was in college, right? Where when I was in high school, we would play with two traditional post players, a center and a traditional power forward, where that term changed to a stretch four. I think I don't even know what they call them now, but it changed in that recruiting scheme where you couldn't recruit or you couldn't play with a traditional back to the basket power forward. You had to be able to face up, like a Patty Booker from Texas 5 years ago. That kid's a 4. But she's a face-up 4. She's stretching that floor out. She can hit that corner 3. She can drive baseline. She can get middle. Like, I think the difference is that Audie Crooks, they don't have her step outside. So where Audie, she was trained to be able to be like a Jordan Hobbs, where she could be a little bit of a point forward. Because if you go find her high school highlights, man, this kid got handles. Like, she could get it in, but they don't play her like
that.
she has become a little more lazy. You don't see her stepping outside that paint. You don't see her taking more than 2 steps in the paint. You don't see it. So when you get to a kid that is a true stretch forward, that's a true face up forward, a point forward, they're gonna beat her because she ain't coming out.
Yeah. All right, so let's get to the next one. The next game was pretty interesting. I thought this was interesting more so uh, for the Liberty side. You know, the Liberty pushing Kentucky to almost elimination, almost upsetting them. You know, I wanted to give this team some give them a shout out. Gamble, what's up? What's up, Gamble? Appreciate you for pulling up. Listen, if you pulling up, if you just pulling up, me and Coach Shamik is breaking down the NCAA tournament. So definitely, talk to us in the chat. Tell us what you think. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure y'all go subscribe to Shamika's channel. Man, she got a lot of good videos on college basketball. So I just kind of wanted to highlight this game because I thought it was interesting how competitive Liberty played. You know, sometimes this stuff could get overlooked, especially in the loss. You know, they lost by 1. So I just kind of wanted to give some of these players some credit. Let me take a look at the stat sheet. So they best player was Emma Hess. Right, she had 17 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists on 50% shooting, 7 of 14 from the field, 3 of 7 from 3. You know, so I don't know how many. I don't know. I've never heard of this team before. You know, I'm new, so I don't know how often they've been in a tournament. But if this is your first time in a tournament, that's big. That's big numbers. That means that they showed up. You know what I'm saying? They sent Bella Smuda. She had 14 points, 12 rebounds, double-double. You know I mean, 6 of 10 shooting, so that's very efficient. So, this team really tried to knock Kentucky out.
Supposed to.
Kentucky almost went home.
It's supposed to. I was in a gym last weekend. I ain't really see this. I saw a couple clips on Instagram, but just looking at this box sheet, right? And of course, it went away that quick. Looking at the box sheet, they gave up 28 points in the fourth quarter. Supposed to go home if they give up 28 points in the fourth quarter to Liberty.
Facts.
Who does that?
Yeah, 28. Yeah.
Yeah, like they beat them on the boards. I'm trying to pull it back up. They beat them on the boards, but you get any points at the game.
Georgia Amore needed that 34. She needed that whole 34 to win this game.
That's part of. I think. I mean, I'm sorry, her career is done for college. I hope.
That's a fact.
Next level, but I think that was part of their problem all season, right? They relied on her way too much.
Yeah.
You got transfers. You got Deja Lawrence. They transferred in from UNCC. That's supposed to be a shooter that can fill it up. That's inconsistent. And you can see in their play, they don't know what to do if Georgia doesn't have the ball.
Yeah.
You can't rely, which I think is part of UCLA's problem. I know I'm jumping the gun, but you can't rely on one player. Like, it has to kind of be by committee. I at least got to have at least 2 bigs, right?
Yeah, especially in college.
I had 2 studs. I can't just have one, and that is part of their problem. Now, I'm not sure how many times Liberty has been to the tournament, but Liberty is a pretty solid mid-major university. Like, for them to stay with Kentucky again, I think it's just because Kentucky, they remind me of NC State. You don't know who coming out the locker room from game to game with the energy, energy of it. You don't know how hard they playing from game to game, how much they're bought into each game. So, not surprising at all.
Let me ask you a question before we move on. And Georgia Amore is probably going to be on here again, but I'm going to ask it now. How do you think she's going to translate to the next level?
I think her translation will be easier than Caitlin's, right? It took Caitlin a couple months to figure it out. I think Georgia Amore is a bucket and a defender and a leader, right? She going to talk. She going to do the intangible. She knows who she is. She knows her role. She understands it well. I don't think it's going to take her that long. And her ability to create space and the timing in which she was
Yeah.
able to create the space to just get her shot off or get other people in position is just, I think she'll do very well. And I think it's not going to take.
Got you. So you don't think her size is going to be an issue?
No,
Okay.
no. Again, with the ability that she has to create the space, if shoot, right? I only need this much space to get it off.
Yeah.
She's quick. She has a really quick first step. She got handles out of this world, and she could create space in any.
Yeah. And she could finish at the rim, right? She's a 3-level scorer. She could finish at the rim. You know, she could make the mid-range jump shot. She's good in pick and roll.
Exactly.
You know,
Which is all you is just pick and roll. We just watched Unrivaled do nothing but help them get better.
There you go. And to your point, you know what? I'm happy you brought up Unrivaled because this made me think of this. I feel like any college player that, because I was thinking about Sarah Ashley Barker's game, and we're gonna get to that a little bit later too. But I was thinking about her game and what I didn't see her do. Maybe she did it and I missed it. But any player that has a step back is gonna do well on the next level, right? So Georgia Amore has that step back. She could get, like you said, she could create space, get to her shot anytime. So in Unrivaled, you seen that shined a lot. The players who was able to get to their step back was able to get their shots off easy. So definitely the step back is something that's every player should have in their bag.
I think it's a little bit of all of it, right? I think you just got to be crafty and. Paige Beckers is so amazing when you watch her, not because she's making just out of the world, out of the box shots. Paige just gets to her spot, right?
Yeah.
Pros get to their spot on both sides. They just get to their spot. So if my spot is this corner three and I get there from a left dribble step back, then that's what I do. That's my spot. I think when we watch Unrivaled, we saw players that got to their spots wherever their spots were. So I think some people use that. When you look at the Collier signature move is that fadeaway, that spin fade, right?
Spin fade at the basket. Yep.
Over and over and over, she's repping that. She ain't really. She can step back. We've seen it, but that ain't her thing. When I think about a Sarah Ashley Barker, I think of a spin fade. I think more of a spin three, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if she necessarily has to have that, or she just needs to master the things that she
does well. That's a good point. That's a good point. All right, let's move on to Utah. Indy. Again, this is a game that I thought Indy was gonna win. I picked Indy in my bracket. But I know how good Gianna Neekins is. Again, somebody who has, like you said, the moves, step backs, got the spin, got the, the fade. She got the offensive package. She could score off the dribble. She could score with the ball in her hand. She could find her teammates. You know what I mean? The only thing, and you could actually educate me on this, Coach. The only thing I don't know so far is how well she's going to be able to defend on the next level, right? Outside of that, I think she has the game to be a pro. What's your thoughts on this game on Gianna Neekins?
I don't feel like I've seen her enough to speak intelligently about her translation at all.
Offensively, I feel like she got the package, Coach.
But see, when I get to that next level, I can't just be able to score. I got to be able to defend.
That's what I'm exactly. She's 6 feet tall, so she got the size. Like you said, she just got to be able to defend. If she could defend, she's gonna be a solid pro. But again, I don't know that much about her defensively to say she can and she can't just yet.
That makes two of us. It'll be interesting to see though, because you think about the kids or the young women or the women that have made it to the league, right? That have gotten drafted and that got sent home.
Right.
It's what we thought. It's just a different level that you got to get to. And if you walk in that building and you got imposter syndrome, you're going home.
Yeah.
You walk in that building and all of them intangibles your coach has been screaming at you about for the last 4 years, you ain't doing, you going home. I think one of the disappointing things about Juju getting hurt is halfway through the season, not even halfway. By the second time they played UCLA, No, the first time they played UCLA, we saw Juju finally decide that she's going to play defense.
Yeah.
Right? We watched Juju score for a year and not defend. We watched Juju literally stand there and turn in circles, and there's no one in this world. I fussed about it for a year. You can't tell me that a kid can do all of that offensively and they don't understand defense. You can't tell me. You in the gym too much to be able to do the things you do offensively.
And she too gifted.
It don't equal out, right?
Yeah. She in that UConn game too, she showed it too, the ability to defend. Yeah.
It's all a choice. So, and I've said it my entire coaching career. Like, defense is a choice. Either you choose to do it or you choose not to.
Facts.
So, if you want to be a defender at that level, you have to decide to do it and then put the work in. That's weight room. That's eating right. That's studying film. That's sitting with your coaches. Like, it's a different level of buy-in to defend, especially the.
Yeah. So in this game, just to name some stats, Gianna Neekins dropped 24. Y'all can see it on the screen there. She shot 9 of 18, so she was efficient. 4 of 10 from 3. And then her teammate May Torre had 18 points. That's a big. Had 18 points and 11 rebounds. And then Indiana side, Yarden Garzon had 17 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. That's a pretty good stat line. 6 of 12, efficient. Yeah, so pretty solid game. Indiana had balanced scoring. I knew Indiana's an overall better team. They just a better team, so they was gonna be able to get that win. But moving on to the next game, this game surprised me, Coach, because I'm a new fan, and I learned about Vandy this year, and I learned about Vandy because of Michaela Blakes and Camille Pierre. That duo, I think they was the highest scoring duo in the league this year, if I'm not mistaken, both averaging over 20 points. So I was excited. This was my dark horse team in the tournament. I wanted to see them, make it maybe to a Sweet 16 or something like that. I didn't think they was going to obviously win anything, but I wanted to see them, to have Michaela Blakes, who's a freshman, and Camille Pierre, who's a part of that talented sophomore core. I wanted to see them do some things. But listen, I ain't mad at Deja Kelly showing up, because Deja Kelly is also somebody who I'm really high on. But with these players, I can't, even if I like you, I can't speak about you unless you're doing something for me to speak about. And Deja Kelly been kind of quiet all year. So I'm happy that she was able to have some good games in this tournament before, she make her next decision, whether, Deja Kelly, her future wide open. She could go to the W, she could be a sideline reporter, she could go, she's with how she set her future up, she got nothing but bright things in the future for herself. So, but this game really surprised me because I didn't see Oregon. I would have never predicted Oregon to beat Vandy. But what's your thoughts on this game or these players?
It caught me off guard too. It caught me off guard, but just remembering that Michaela Blakes, as amazing as she is, she a freshman, right?
Yeah.
Camille Pierre is a sophomore, but she only been playing basketball for 6 years, so she a baby.
Right.
It's a different arena, right? You think you understand it, but every time
get that
different arena and the stakes are higher. So when you got Oregon is being led by Deja Kelly, who is a super vet.
Yeah.
Right. You've been there before, it don't hit the same.
Right.
We're poised. So I think their lack of experience, and then again, just relying on 2 babies.
Yeah.
You got the other kids that will score. They got a shooting guard that I can't remember her name. She's a senior, junior, but she normally scores a little bit. I don't know what she did in that game, but she's inconsistent in her contributions to the team. She starts. I cannot think of her name right now.
I got you. I think it's Ayanna Moore. I think that's who you're talking about.
Probably. Yeah. Oh. But with Ayanna, you don't know what Ayanna you're going to get, right?
Yeah.
Big game, she played with passion. She going to defend. She going to rebound. She going to do all the intangibles. And some of them other games, she kind of just is there. So it shocked me again. I thought they would. I didn't know if they would make it to the Sweet 16, but I definitely had them getting past Oregon.
Yeah. Ayana Moore had 1 of 14, coach. She was 1 of 14, 0-4 from 3. And Ayana Moore normally shoots well though. That's the funny thing. She just maybe she was too
Yeah.
excited for the game or something.
How many times? Yeah.
Her turnovers? Oh, I got you right now. I just clicked off by mistake. Turnovers. Ayana Moore had only one turnover. I thought she had more than that. Only one. But she just shot terrible. You know, Michaela Blake's had 26, 5 rebounds, shot 7 of 17, so that's not terrible. Camille Pierre had 17 and 6. Those are good numbers, but that's actually low for her, right? Like she normally scores a little bit more than rebounds, definitely more than that. But still, 7 to 13 shooting, not terrible, right? So Michaela and Camille showed up. Nobody else did. Nobody else showed up, coach. Yo, KSAP. This is KSAP. This is Shamika Jones. She's a coach. She's super knowledgeable about women's basketball. I wanted to introduce y'all because I know you enjoy meeting, especially women, but people in general that's knowledgeable about this game. So definitely if you want to come up to the panel, you already know. I'll give you the link, K-Shot. Faz, was good. Was popping. T. Camilla. Listen, man, I'm trying to get more consistent. I'm trying to get more consistent on this thing, man. You know what I mean? I'm doing my best. I work hard. I got a lifetime. I got a day job, so it's difficult. But I'm trying to do my best. Real Money says, I think offensive-minded players know they can't exert themselves fully on defense because they carry a heavy offensive load. What's your thoughts on that, Coach? I'm gonna defer to the coach. Coach ain't trying to hear that. See, he a Caitlin Clark fan. That's why I'm messing with you, Real Money. I'm messing with you.
And I understand the thought, right? But that's the problem in the game.
Yeah.
Like, if I gotta score, I still gotta defend. That's part of the game.
That's a fact.
So I gotta eat. I gotta work out more. I gotta take care of my body because I can't not show up on one end because I'm expected to show up on the others. Anytime I step in the gym, the rule is your job. I don't care what you do. Your job is to score, right? Yeah. If everybody walks in the gym and they understand that their job is to score, maybe you'll take the responsibility to get in the gym more so you can make more shots, but it doesn't put all the pressure on one kid. Now that kid that's going to score, she's going to score regardless. Yeah. Right? But now if she getting 30 and you know what I'm saying, you make 4 or 5 layups, that's 10. I only need a layup a quarter, right? It just, you got to do both.
Got to do both. I'm with Coach, man. Listen, I grew up watching Jordan, and Jordan took pride on that defensive end. Everybody remember him for the scoring, but he took pride on that defensive end. You know what I mean? You hear listen, the best stories is when every time you hear Magic Johnson say him and Pippen looked at each other, and then the opponents didn't score no. All right, so I just wanted to show Vanny some love, man. Vanny made me a fan this year. I'm definitely gonna.
That makes two.
Yeah, definitely.
They have been silent for a while.
So now we in the round 2, Coach.
Okay.
Deja Kelly played Duke, and Deja Kelly had a game. She had a game. Almost won this game, but Ashlyn Jackson went off, man, hitting a bunch of threes. But Deja Kelly, the way they stopped her was Deja Kelly liked to get to that mid range, and it's funny because I noticed why they was gonna lose the game. The next step, Deja Kelly, because here's the thing, Deja Kelly isn't that quick, right? She can't when they bring that defense to that mid range, she wasn't able to get to the basket. Because I was like, if she would have just got to the basket, they win that game. Because I don't know the girl name. I gotta take a look at the stats. But they was playing with a big girl who she isn't like that dynamic offensively, but she was just so big they couldn't stop her. So if Deja Kelly could have just kept breaking down the defense to the rim, all she had to do was dish to that big girl. That big girl that made a layup. But she Duke they Duke set their defense up to stop Deja Kelly from hitting that mid-range jumper. And it kind of just took her out the game, right? Because if you the only what Deja Kelly should have did, the adjustment she should have made was, and she, this is if you have this in your game, you got to shoot it off the dribble now. You can't stop and pop. So you either got to shoot a dribble pull-up fade or you got to shoot a floater, right? So that you could get the shot off before the defense get there, or you get to the basket. Problem was she wasn't quick enough to get to the basket. You get what I'm saying? And her go-to shot is that stop and pop. She don't ever shoot a fade or a floater. So once they took her out the game, it was over. I don't know. I could hear back. I could hear myself echoing, just to let you know.
Yeah, my Bluetooth. Yeah.
So
we
back. So yeah. So they once they took Deja Kelly out the game, it was over. I think the other best scorer ended up getting hurt. So again, this was another one of those games that like Hermione Turner was in, where it was like she was the only person who could do something. The rest of her teammates wasn't doing too much to help her. But yeah, once they took Deja Kelly out of that mid-range and Ashlyn Jackson started knocking down them 3-point shots, the game was over at that point.
Deja Kelly had 20. Filipina Kaye had 14 and 13. The next person had 8.
Right. And I think Filipina is the one I'm talking about that got hurt, if I'm not mistaken. No, that's the big Filipina. I think that's the big. Yeah. Yeah, that's the big.
And then the next is 8. You can't win like that in high-level women's basketball. You can't beat 3 or 4 people in double figures.
Yeah.
And Duke, watching Duke evolve defensively all year, it's the hardest team for me to watch because they slow everything down, and I'm a fan of fast basketball. I'm just a fan of up-tempo basketball, but they slow it down and they make you play their game. Yeah. I've watched them go through 17,000 different defensive looks based on the opponents they're playing, and they do it with ease. And they don't have a superstar, right? Even Ashlyn Jackson, it's not always her night. They don't have a superstar, so they're doing it by committee, and they have a different. When you look at them, they actually look like a team. Like they know their roles. Duke puts you in a position where it's the first team to 50, and for whatever reason, Duke slows everybody down, and they're the first team to 50, and that's how they beating people.
Let me ask you a question. You said they don't have a superstar. What's your thoughts on Toby Fournier? Do you think she's going to develop into a superstar for them? Because right now they bring her off the bench. I'm assuming next year she's going to start. But even the way they talk about her off the bench, they talk about her like she's their best player, even though she come off the bench. Because even in that game when I was watching it, they were saying, the broadcaster was saying, Ashlyn Jackson showed up, but they needed Toby Fournier. They was kind of handicapped because Toby wasn't there. She was sick that game, so she didn't play. But what do you think about her game and maybe her? Like, what type of player do you see her develop it into? Is she just going to be a solid role player? Do you think she could develop into a superstar? Because her athleticism, the big thing on her was showing. They kept showing how well she could dunk out of high school before she got to college. So, what do you think her game's develop into?
I think she has to put on some weight. She's obviously super athletic, right? But she needs a lot of film work. When you're playing in the post in college, it's about doing the work early. It's about understanding the scout. It's about making sure that your defender can't turn. I need to know when I'm playing behind, when I'm playing in front, when I'm half fronting. And she doesn't understand those things yet, right? When you watch her play, that's why her minutes are limited. You can see that she just doesn't understand basketball on her level that she's at. But I think where she is a great place. And I know for a fact that she can develop there. The question is she going to buy into the role that they need her? I think she could definitely be a headline player one day, right? Mm-hmm. But you never know especially in this day and age, they paying kids to go to different schools. You don't know if she's
Listen, to your point, we already see to Nia Lots in the portal. Like we we still in the tournament.
It's a different day. So I mean, if she has the right people in her corner, I think where she is with the coaching staff she has is probably the best place for her to actually develop, because she needs
I like they coach too. They got a solid coach.
For sure. Like for sure. She's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. All right, moving on. This was probably the second best game in the tournament so far. Kansas won, or Kentucky lost at the buzzer. Georgia Amore got a layup that literally rolled off the front. But two close games for them. We just talked about it. They got out of the one with Liberty. They couldn't get out of this one. Sundell showed up and played one of her best games, and Tamara Pondexter hit about 8 threes or something like that in this game. What's your thoughts about Kansas State, Ayoka Lee, and what's your thoughts about Ayoka Lee on the next level too? Because she should be in the draft. What's your thoughts? What you think about Ayoka Lee in the pros?
First, I think that when K-State is clicking, you ain't stopping them.
Yeah,
they got too many different weapons, and once one get hot, it's like the whole team get hot.
Yeah. They got a 6'2" point guard, to your point. They got one of the most unstoppable bigs. And then they got shooters. So
man, yeah. They have a full arsenal. When they clicking. I'm looking at the box score now. They came out slow. They only had one good quarter. But then Kentucky,
it was Pondexter,
11 points.
It was Pondexter that really saved them. Pondexter hit about 8 threes in that game because they kept trying to double on Ayoka Lee.
Mm-hmm.
They kept trying to double off her. Pondexter made them pay every time.
Yeah, she was hitting threes everywhere.
Yeah. That's what I said. She made it. And the funny thing is, the game before this, she was struggling. Like, she couldn't make a shot. So, it just happens like that sometimes, where that was her night.
I was a shooter. I completely overstand. Who did they play?
The game before?
No. Who did they play next?
Oh, they play
USC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw my notes. All right, you asked me about
Ayoka Lee and the pros. So let me tell you my thoughts on Ayoka Lee first. I think offensively, at least on this level, it might, obviously gonna be more difficult on the next level. Offensively, Ayoka Lee is unstoppable, right? Like she's so big, and she got a soft touch, and she knows her spots on the floor. So once she gets to her spot, she's gonna score the ball. Defensively, I think she's slow. I think she's slow, and she might be in foul trouble a lot, and she injury prone, right? So, but that's my thoughts on her. What's your thoughts on Ayoka Lee in the pros? Like how she be able to fare? Because she's 6'6". She's 6'6" with a touch, with a jump shot. Like offensively, she got a package. So, what do you think about her in the pros?
Yeah, but her 6'6" can't mess with Asia Wilson's 6'4", 6'5", right?
Of course not. Of course not.
I got to defend that.
Yeah.
I got to be able to, if Carmilla Cardoza comes out, I got to be able to defend that.
Yeah,
and one for sure, she's been practicing and playing, right?
Yeah.
Every time I watch K-State, she floor consistently because she in foul trouble, and she in foul trouble because them puppies slow. She don't move them.
Yep. If she on the floor, coach, right? Like,
that's what I'm saying. I think she will struggle with that. I think she's gonna struggle. I know she'll get a shot because she's 6'6" and she can shoot, she can score.
Yeah.
But Man, the league too good in their post play.
Yeah.
Like,
You and it make what you're saying makes so much sense because I was thinking earlier in the season, just during the WNBA season before college season, I was thinking like, yo, why is Ayoka Lee so low on these draft boards? I said she should be higher, but now that I understand one, the injury prone part, and then two, like I said, her speed defensively. That's probably why. Because I noticed that again, me being a new WNBA fan, I noticed size is valuable. If you have a good big, they're probably gonna go high in the draft. So I was wondering like why she's so low. She's a good big, but again, the injury part and then the defensive part is what probably brings her down a little bit.
yeah, when I was coming up, they used to say you can't teach height. It didn't matter if they were good as long as they were big. Now they got to be good, and I got to stop good.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have a choice. I got to defend.
Let me ask you this question, and since we talking about bigs, obviously Dominique Malanga is probably going to be the first big to go. And when I say big, I'm not talking about Kiki. Kiki to me is like a 4. Who you think is the second big? You think that's Adona Prince in the draft?
Is she entering this year? Or is she staying?
I think so. I think I mean, from what I understand, she a super senior. So I don't even know if she can stay any longer.
Even with all the bruise and the breaks, you don't know. I can't call it. I like Sedona Prince, but I think she's a little soft.
Okay. I'm just asking like who's the second big to go? Because we just talked about bigs. Obviously, Malanga's probably gonna go high in the draft. Obviously, Kiki is probably gonna be somewhere up there. The next big, and she's undersized big, is Anissa Murrow. Right. So that's how I'm thinking about the 6'6", because then you get the Sedona Prince, you get the Yoka Lee, and then after that it's Sanaya Fagan and the Marshall from USC. Like those are the bigs in this draft. So I was trying to figure out like what order do they go in. Malanga probably goes first, right? Out of the bigs. And then after that, I'm like, is it a Yoka Lee next? Is it Sedona Prince next?
It would be Sedona Prince before Yoka Lee. Yeah, it would be Sedona Prince first.
Yeah,
for sure.
But like you said, she got those off the court issues coming along with her. So
even with those off the court, you coach women's basketball enough, you see it all the time.
Right. Listen, this is all new for me. I've been a basketball fan my whole life. The issues in women's basketball I've never seen before. Like of course there's some issues that's in both, but it's some issues in women's basketball. I'm like, oh, okay. Oh,
we can, right? We understand the game. We can teach in it. Still female, so we still feel 100,000 emotions in a minute, and for most people we have to learn how to process emotions.
Yeah, facts. But it's not even that too. You know what I noticed? Like even some of the drama, some of the stuff that's like drama, I'd be like, oh, that's not even a big deal, but it's a big deal. And
I think that's society though. Like I don't watch reality TV because it's not real, right? Yeah. I think we, as a society, we just glorify negativity too much.
Facts.
Because of that, it follows us everywhere. Like I had to have multiple team meetings every year that I coach collegiately. I still got to do it as a high school and a top level AAU coach. Like you got to have the meetings consistently because the stuff from outside that the world deems that we should live like follows us everywhere we go.
Facts.
So we think all of the rah is normal. That ain't normal life. Like we could talk to each other.
Yeah.
We can have regular conversations. I don't have to not like you because of XYZ, or I could just say that and we could talk about it. But that's
what you just said. What you just said breaks down the whole Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark fandom thing. I don't know why people. It's okay to disagree, argue for an hour, and then leave it alone, and we could be cool. But for whatever reason, people thinks that because I broke this down yesterday. I was talking to somebody day before, not yesterday, it was day before yesterday, I think. But I was talking to somebody and I said, you got people that, like, for me, I'm not a Kobe fan. right? God, R.I.P. Kobe, God rest his soul. But when he was alive, I'm a Tracy McGrady fan. So I used to argue all the time about who was better, da 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 da. And then it's over. Like it's never, it ain't no hatred. Like it ain't no, but it's like with this Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese thing, it's like people feel like it's real beef. Like we can't be cool after we argue.
But that's the narrative that the media pushed,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And if we have learned nothing in the last 3 months, we understand
exactly.
kind of tells people that
Yeah,
aren't free thinkers
right.
how to behave. So the media pushed all that.
Facts.
Basketball is a passionate sport. I'm supposed to block your shot and say, get that shit out of here, right?
Yeah,
Supposed to, when you wave off somebody else, when it's my turn, I'm supposed to wave you off, nigga.
exactly.
Like that's how it's supposed to
Yeah,
go.
it's a competitive game.
And then when the game is over, we dap up and we go in our separate.
Yeah, we cool. Is it?
After that.
Yeah.
The media did that. Again, the world we live in and this
But see, but everything you're saying, Coach, I agree with, and that makes me that's why I always say those, because some Caitlin Clark fans is cool as fuck.
yeah.
And obviously I'm an Angel Reese fan, so I know Angel Reese fans are cool as fuck, right? So those fans we talking about, I don't think they real basketball fans. They just there literally to push hate. Because real basketball fans understand everything you just said. This is what we do.
I didn't understand. People would say the internet is such a negative place, and I didn't understand it until I started posting content. And I don't really post my personal life, like until I started posting, and I'm like, bro, like why are you even on my page? You don't understand basketball. Like all I post is basketball. You just had to say something,
right?
And I don't get it. The things that people have said to Angel Reese, as if you know that girl personally, not taking into account that this is still a 22-year-old young person.
Right.
It's a baby. Like this a kid.
But look, Coach, to your point, not only the things that they say to her, she could. So, like you said, the media could create a narrative or whatever the case may be, right? Then you could get a glimpse into who she really is, and people still hold on to the lie. Like you said, I have people coming in my comments and saying, "Oh, she's all about herself." But you just seen everybody on the rival say, "Oh, she all she do is give love to her teammates." So how's she all about herself? But people just want to believe whatever the narrative is and be like, "I don't care what the truth is. I'm going with the narrative."
It's America.
Let's get to the next slide. I know you got a early morning. So this was the best game in the tournament, in my opinion, right here. I think this was a triple overtime or a double overtime, if I'm not mistaken.
The double overtime.
Double overtime game. Sarah Ashley Barker had 45. Okay. But here's my thing, Coach. Talk to me about this. And we just talked a little bit about, we didn't get into it, but I mentioned it with Sedona Prince. These players that's like super seniors, like how much should I believe in that game that Sarah just had, knowing that she's like a fifth year senior? She a fifth year player. Is it her just because when I looked at her stats from her career, her first 2 seasons, I think she was in Georgia. She didn't really have great numbers. Her third season, that's when she came to Alabama. Still the same thing. And this season, her season past, her last 2 seasons, her numbers shot up. So is this a case of Sarah just being so comfortable because she's been here so many times before, like you said about Deja Kelly, or is this the new Sarah and this is who she's gonna translate into in the WNBA? Because I ain't gonna lie, when I look at her game, me personally, she like we just said earlier, she got all the stuff, right? Like she got the move. To me, it looks like her game translate, but I don't know if that's based off her age and the players she playing against, or is just this what she developed into, and this is gonna be her on the next level as well. Obviously not, you got to grow into the 45 on the next level. She gonna grow to her rookie pains and whatever the case may be. But I'm just talking about the ability to get her shot off. Like she knocked down some big shots in that game. The ability to get her shot off, the ability to get to the basket, finish, all that type of stuff. She I don't know if you was able to watch this game, but She kind of pissed me off a little bit because in crunch time, coach, she turned the ball over like 3 times in a row. I'm like, come on, Sarah. Now her teammates pissed me off too because Zay Green and Aaliyah now fouled out the game. You got to be smarter than that. But she stayed in the game and she was able to play. But she had a big night. I know I said a lot, but what's your thoughts, coach?
I think we got to get that girl her flowers, right?
Okay.
Fifth year don't mean the game get easier. It means that I've walked through March Madness before. So my emotions ain't all over the place like they were my first year. They still all over the place, but not as much as my freshman year. But for her to be able to, and watching her throughout the year, for her to be able to fill that basket up the way she can and defend and lead and talk, those are all choices that she made.
Really quick, coach. And she came back from injury this year too. So she has some adversity. You know what I mean?
Like, so that speaks to the mental toughness and the buy-in. Like, a lot of kids get lost once they get hurt because you just don't know. Even with all of the parameters around their mental health now, you still just don't know how they're going to come through that. Got to get that kid her flowers. Her turning that ball over is because the rest of y'all not supposed to foul out.
That's a fact. leave me here by myself.
I think she, just watching her play, because I went back and I watched that game. Definitely the most exciting game of the tournament thus far. People that paid for tickets got their money's worth. But I think she'll translate. I think she'll have her learning curve. I like her. I like her
too, coach.
Like her a lot, man. And she can score, but she's not big-headed because you see her do all the little things throughout every game, right? Yeah. She ain't just, I'm a score and then that's it. No, she gonna score. She gonna get on the floor.
Yes, find her teammates.
She gonna go help and then still scramble out to her. She gonna do everything.
And she the right size. She a 6-foot guard, right? So we already know the size translates to the WNBA. The game, if you could shoot the way she could shoot, that translates to the WNBA. So I'm happy you said the things you said about her.
She get downhill with ease. She's great around the basket.
Yeah.
She has court vision. She finds her teammates. I think she'll translate. I think she's going to struggle. Just because at Georgia, I don't think she had the right coaches, right? I think it's a certain coach that can speak to that kid to help that kid grow. No different than Teaspoon was for Angel.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's going to be just making sure she gets the right coaching staff and front office around her.
Listen, man, I appreciate those words, Coach. Moving on. Unfortunately, my slide is a little bit off the page, but that's all right. Technical difficulty. Matter of fact, I think it's because, let me do this. See that? Fixed it. So we just talked about Sarah Ashley Barker. She had 45. To me, the best game in the tournament so far. Paige. A lot of people, let me give honorable mention shout outs. I only picked 5 players that stood out to me, but I had a list of 20 players that did their thing, but I was like, I can't mention everybody. So I say, let me narrow it down to 5. And this is not even the 5 highest scorers. This is just the 5 most impactful for me personally.
Those types of lists.
Yeah, so let me pull up. I think Sarah played on was it Monday? Yeah, Monday. Let me pull up her stats just so I can read them off to the people. Double overtime, like Coach said. 45 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 17 and 25 from the field, efficient 45, right? 4-6 from 3, 7-11 from the free throw. Played 49 minutes in this game. So, and her two next best players fouled out. So she was in there really just holding it down. So shout out to her. Any more words you want to give to her, Coach?
Her court awareness, second overtime, right? Couple seconds left on the clock. Maryland doesn't have a timeout, so they can't advance the ball. They're taking the ball out on the baseline. she is so aware of the timing, the foul situation, that she yells at her teammate to run up and foul the girl so that they have enough time they can get the ball back. Whoever she's talking to is just not there mentally because you should already know you need to go foul.
Right.
She's just late, so they run out of time. But just thinking about that, I done played 49 minutes. Y'all done gave me the ball every single time, and in the last few seconds of the game, I'm still that locked in to tell the next person what to do.
Yeah.
Man, that
Like
kid.
you said, that's coaching. You know what I mean? Moving on to Jada Curry. I just wanted to highlight Jada Curry. This was in a loss at TCU, but 41 points. Again, we just talked about 45, right? 41 points in the loss. And she did it in the regulation, right? Like it wasn't no extra minutes. So 41 points in the loss, though. 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 13 of 28, not that efficient. 6 of 12 from 3. That's pretty good. 9 of 9 from the free throw line, 100% from the free throw line in 39 minutes. So I just wanted to give Jada Curry. This is somebody who I didn't full disclosure, right? Because I don't have no problem being 100% honest. I didn't know who this girl was at all until this 41. So I'm gonna be paying attention to her now, Jada Curry. But that just impressed me. Like that shows somebody. She 5'6". Okay, that impressed me. Somebody who didn't want to lose, right? She wasn't trying to lose. Unfortunately, for her team. Shout out to Haley Van Lith. She stuck it to her old team. You know, she moved on. So shout out to her. But Jada Curry gained a fan in me and gained my respect with that 41 point performance. You want to say anything about Jada?
Jada's a solid player. She's not a 41 point a night player, but she is.
Yeah, she averaged 14, by the way. So.
Right. She had a tournament game and she showed up. But she's consistent. I like her.
Nice. I got to give a shout out to Kiki because obviously, unfortunately, we all know Juju went down in this game. But Kiki stepped up with Juju going down and played like the old Kiki. We haven't really seen the Kiki that everybody been wanting to see this whole year because she's been playing next to a mega star, right? She's been playing next to a superstar. So she hasn't really been having a type of game. But with that said, I'm gonna push back a little bit on that argument because even though it hasn't looked sexy, when you go back and look at her stats, she got a lot of good stats that you wouldn't think, right? Because the game that she had the other day, you could tell like that was a big game. But she has certain games and it looked like she's not there. And then you go look at the stats, it's 20 and 11. It's, you know what I mean? Like, it's like she got the numbers. She's still showing up. But we haven't seen, it hasn't looked like it looked like last year in Stanford. So I just want to give Kiki some credit. She dropped 36 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 16 of 22, very efficient. She shot a 3, missed it. 4-4 from the free throw line in 31 minutes. Shout out to Kiki because we've been waiting for that all year, Coach.
I think Kiki in those big moments, right? Of course, Kiki is Kiki, so she's going to score. But I think in them big games,
yeah,
in Kiki, not the Kiki that we have grown to love over the last few years. We just hadn't seen her. And I don't know if that's because Juju is such a huge star or that Kiki just ain't been Kiki because she in a different system. She trying to find herself. I don't know what it was, but we haven't seen her in those big games.
right.
Like in the first or the second, I can't remember. In one of them UCLA wins, she ended the game with like 16 and 10, but all of them was off of feeds in the fourth quarter from Juju. Like the first 3 quarters.
That was game 2 because I think game 1 Juju had a stat sheet by herself, but I think in game 2,
in rare form. So in game, like she ain't scoring until the end of the game, and she was missing layups. She was catching up. She's just out mentally to me in those big games throughout the season. She just ain't look like she been there.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
So this game, I was very impressed because everybody's counting on Juju. They ain't even talking about Kiki. And not only does she score and figure out how to point the ball in the basket and defend, but she became a leader. She's talking to the team. She's rallying the troops. She's keeping everybody in a really stable place. Like, actually was a leader that game. And as a coach, you have to respect that. Like, you need moments. And with Juju going down and the dramaticness, you could tell Juju's never been hurt, right? That
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
the look of her face is
Yeah.
enough to deflate a team.
Facts.
Know how they're gonna come back from it. So I give Kiki more flowers, not because she scored the points that we know she's capable of, but
Yeah.
stepping out the side of her box and leading.
Yeah. Keeping her composure and taking it to another level. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And to your point, coach, let's see if she could let's see what happens next game, right? Let's see if
I'm waiting on.
yeah. Let's see what kind of Kiki we get. So that's gonna really determine and define who she is too. Like if this could be even in a loss, but if this could be who you are and you can show people like, nah, I'm stepping up for my team. I'm the leader. I'm the leader now. I'm the best player out here now. Follow me. I'm gonna lead you guys. And she empowered her teammates. I believe it was Heckle or somebody who she had put the, I don't know if you saw them put the sticker. She was like, no, I want her to put the sticker on. So she empowered her teammates.
Telling
So I
you,
like
she's
that.
that game.
Try to say that one more time.
Last year because you had Cameron Brink, right?
Yeah.
You walk into a place where you should lead, but there's a Juju there.
Yeah.
We watched that girl grow up. I think how she responds in the next game will translate to her WNBA stock.
Yeah, and that's the point I'm making. We're gonna see who you really are. Because everybody, when the season, when the college season first started, everybody had her really high on the draft board. But once we saw a few games, she kind of dropped a little bit. So we're gonna see maybe this boosts her up if she shows a little bit of leadership. Again, this is another player, coach Maggie Dugan, who I knew nothing about. I still kind of don't know about. I'm respecting the game that she put up. Right for her though. And this sets her apart from everybody else on this list. Well, hers 2 games, so I gotta actually go over 2 games for her. So the first game against Georgia Tech, she dropped 30 points, 15 rebounds, 6 assists, 11 to 18. 11 to 18 from the field, 5 or 8 from 3. This is a 6. This is a 6'2". This is a 6'2" forward. So she got some game. I'm not familiar with her game, but I guess I'm gonna have to get familiar with her game, coach, because I was surprised when I saw these numbers. I was like, damn, okay, she plays for Richmond. All right. And then the second game, that was against Georgia Tech. The second game against UCLA. She had another big game. She had 27, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. 11 to 18 from the field, 3 or 7 from 3, 2 or 3 from her free throw in 38 minutes, coach. I had to put her on this list and give her some love. This shows you these players, while I respect it, because like somebody like Paige had a good game. She dropped 34. But again, say it again.
She's supposed to do that.
Exactly, she's supposed to do it, and I forgot who was again. It wasn't that impactful for me. I'm happy she did it because she's another player who all year people been low on because they wanted more from her. They wanted, why is she doing this? Why? And she gave it to y'all here. But I think Paige mentally isn't the player people want her to be. Right? People want her to be, oh, I'm gonna go out and get 30. I'm gonna get 40. I'm gonna do this, but that's not who she is. I think who she is more so, what can I do for the team? I want to make sure the team is good. And then whatever I need to do, whether that's getting 15 points, whether that's, and this is the part that pissed people off, whether that's her getting 10 points or that's her getting 30 points, she willing to do it. And but I think her focus is not, I'm going to go out here and kill. I think her focus is what's best for the team and being efficient in that. And sometimes that's low numbers and people get upset with that. So I'm happy she dropped 34 to show people I'm still Paige. I don't know, right? I'm still the number 1 pick out here. I'm still the baddest out here. Ain't nothing y'all can do about it. So now because to me, I had Juju as the best player in this tournament. But now that Juju's gone, I got Paige as being the best. You can tell me who you think if you got somebody different. But right now, I got Paige as the best player in this tournament now. So she showed out. But before we get to that, let me just finish talking about Maggie Dugan. I just had to show her some love. I don't know if you was familiar with her game, coach, but I wasn't familiar. Richmond.
I never heard of a Maggie Dugan in my life until didn't know who this kid was.
Yeah.
And I am waiting to see it pop up on my Instagram that she in the portal. Because if you do them numbers against them
Yeah.
in March, you ain't
Yeah. Yeah. You need to be on a powerhouse.
gotta go get you a bag real quick.
Right. I'm with you. But what's your thoughts on the page conversation I just had? What's your thoughts on that?
I think that people are holding on to the page from before the injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Before the injuries, Paige was coming out and she was trying to drop 50 a night.
Okay.
But once she got hurt and then she got hurt, and I think in that, when you look at Paige, just watching her this year, it doesn't look, I think she knows, one, that she's the number one draft pick, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's trying to make sure that she leaves UConn in a better space than she found it. So you see her empowering different players. You see her passing up shots that she should be getting to. You see her not caring that she's scoring, but going crazy when her teammates score. I don't know if it's about the win as much as about I wanted to come to UConn. I got to make sure UConn's straight.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. It hasn't. I don't know why people aren't high on her. She's extremely efficient. When you look at a Page, it's not, to me, it's not super impressive. Paige just getting to her spots.
Mm-hmm.
If you in the gym, you understand you taking 300, 400 of them shots a day. Like, she's supposed to knock them shots. Them the shots she take all the time. And y'all gonna leave her wide open? Like, who? Y'all tripping out here. Like, but to the non-basketball, I watch this all day long. I don't understand what they're hating for.
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head, Coach. I think Paige superpower is efficiency. I think that's what she's going to bring. Because I had a show a couple days ago, and I had posed a question. I said, can Paige have a better rookie season than CC did? Right? Can she outdo her? I said I'm not sure, and here's why I said I'm not sure. Not because she doesn't have as much talent. I think she got as much talent as CC. I said the way CC played, CC passed the ball a lot. She was able to break records with assists. I said Paige is probably not going to do that. Paige is going to come out. She's going to score the ball. She's going to pass the ball. She's going to score the ball. But she's going to have more well-rounded games. So I don't know if she's going to be able to break records, because I think in order for her to break records, she's going to have to focus on one part of the game. Like Angel Reese focused on rebound, broke records. Caitlin Clark focused on passing, broke records. I think she's going to have to focus on scoring if she want to break records, but I don't know. With the rookies dead, I don't know if she's going to be able to break those records. I don't think she's going to pass as much as CC did, and obviously she's not going to rebound like Angel did. So I think her ability is going to be the efficiency, and I don't think efficiency breaks records, right? Maybe it does, I don't know, but I think so. That's why I'm not sure if she's going to have a better rookie season, because people are going to compare it to the record breaking. She might have a better rookie season as far as numbers go now, because CC didn't have great efficiency numbers, right? So now she might have a way better season as far as efficiency goes. And then maybe that's what people talk about, because she's really good at and what the rare players is good at, the Steve Nash's, people like that, at the 50, 40, 90. So maybe she come out and have one of those seasons, and it's a most historic season because she had one of the most efficient seasons ever, or something like that. Maybe that as a rookie, I'm talking about rookie seasons, not comparing it to any other season. I'm talking about people's first rookie season. Maybe she could come out have one of the most efficient rookie seasons ever. I don't know. But it's gonna, like, unless she's breaking records. We just talked about the narratives in the media and stuff like that. Unless she's breaking records, I don't know if people's gonna, compare it right. But what's your thoughts on that?
I think when they step on the floor, they ain't thinking about no records, right? We think stat line, we think records. Them rookies, and when you stepping on the floor, until you in it, you not thinking about none of that stuff. You just thinking about getting that dub tonight, right? And if that means I'm getting points, then I'm getting points. Now, I think she will show better than Caitlin did in the first half of the season. One, because Paige got everybody's respect already, where Caitlin had nobody's respect, right? Yeah. And that showed in the way they defended that girl.
And the best defender on her team now.
And I think for Paige. I think Paige game already translates. I didn't think
Facts.
Caitlin Clark. I'm Cheryl Swoops. I ain't think that Caitlin was like that, right? She
Yeah.
could hit shots, but Caitlin could only hit shots going a certain way. It had to come off of a rub. It had to come off of one dribble pull from the left, like, or she had to be coming off of a double drag, right? It was a certain way that it had to look for her to be able to score. And when she got to the W, she wasn't doing those things. Your system is designed for you to go off of double screens, and you're not going off of them. You're running past them. You're not brushing. It was like the little details that I scream all day long to my kids make a huge difference. She wasn't doing that. Watching Paige's game evolve and all the people that's trained her throughout the years of her being in college. A lot of that stuff that them rookies got to learn, Paige has a cheat code because she's been working out with for her whole time.
Yeah. And we just talked about how easy she makes the game, how efficient she is. So yeah, I agree with you. Let me get to this last one because I know you got to go. So let's get through the rest of this show. So this last one, Hermione Turner, man, she didn't have big numbers, but like I said, this is impact. She was impactful to me watching her play because I feel like she should be. Her name should get mentioned more high in the draft. To me, she's probably like 3. As we talk about, if we talk about Olivia Miles. Georgia Amos, she's probably the 3rd best point guard, somewhere around there. Arguably people like Cheyenne Sellers, people like a lot of other people, but Hermione Turner is really good. And what made me really appreciate her coach, when I watched her versus Michigan State, she was getting charges, right? She was out there on the defensive and making plays. Everybody want to talk about how well she scores the ball. She was making plays on the defensive end, and she was finding her teammates. They was double teaming her, triple teaming her. She was able to find her teammates through pressure. Hermione Turner is really good, right? Like,
so Hermione Turner was good coming out of high school. She wanted the education, which ended up at a Harvard. So like the skill was already there. She was in the top 100 in her class coming out of high school. Like she was good.
Yeah.
And we finally get to see that. This is her senior year. So they were talking, if I'm not mistaken, they were talking about her going to the league. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how it'll translate.
I think it will because she's 5'10". She got good size. And seeing her play, I'm just talking about the eye test, coach, right? I haven't seen her play a lot. I seen that one game. The pressure Michigan State put on that girl and how she was breaking that pressure. I said, yo, all she need to be around is better players. That's literally it. Because you could tell she ain't had no help out there. And even her body language made me respect her because most players or certain players would be like pissed off because they'd be like, they'd be mad at their teammates for like, yo, do something, help me. But she was like, every time something happened, you're not pulling them over in the huddle. They coaching each other. All right, don't worry, do this, blah, 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 blah. She coaching them up. I said, yo, this girl's good. It's something about her. She was raised right. She was raised right. She was coached right, and she got game. So I think it's going to translate because of the size. Like I said, she got solid size, and she plays both ends of the floor.
And maybe with all of these expansion teams that we got and that are coming, it will. But I'm not sold yet.
Not sold, Jack. I ain't mad at that. She sold me. Because I've been on. I kind of been watching her. But, like, I never seen her play live. That's my first time seeing her play live. So I was like, okay, she impressed me. Same thing, Cherry.
Wrong. Like, she is good.
Yeah.
Thinking about where she's going and the talent she got to play against and with, I don't see it yet.
Okay.
I don't see it.
All right, Coach. Let's start talking about the Sweet 16. Coach put together some keys for each team to win. What each team got to do. And then she'll pick her winner, I guess, after she talk about them.
Them yesterday.
That's also I know you got them. I watched it. We agree. Everything you said, I had thought of myself already. So I'm gonna let you get in this your part of the show. I'm gonna just hit the slides for you. This way you can get through it, and then we can wrap the show up.
Help me out. Let me know what you think. Feedback is always good.
Got you.
For K-State, right? Interior defense, obviously, they got to stop. They got to stop Kiki, and they have to stop Ryan Marshall. Ryan Marshall also stepped up big time in that USC win the other night.
Yes.
and showed us more parts of her game that we never knew were in her bag.
And toughness.
Man, interior D has to be better. USC struggles in transition defense to me, so they got to be able to score in transition, and they have to win the battle on the boards. Like K-State is a bunch of guards and shooters, so you got to get inside. You got to be willing to battle to even have a shot at this game. For USC, again, they got to go through Kiki, and Raya has to be the same Raya from the other day. Without a Juju, the team has to play as committee, right? We can't look at Kiki to have 40 again. If she does, great. But we can't say that that's our game plan because Kiki ain't been getting 40 all season.
They got to do it by committee.
Right. If I can get that 20 from Kiki, let me get that 20 from Kiki. Let's take Juju's 30 and let you get 7, you get 10, you get 12. You make 5 layups. That's 2 in 1 quarter. Pick whatever quarter you want to go crazy and make 2 layups. I don't care. 1 layup a quarter, that's 12 points from somebody. I think they'll be fine, right? But it has to be by committee, and they just have to do better in transition D altogether. Like, it bothers me so much how terrible they are in transition D.
And they got to put a body on Tamara Pondexter. I mean, I don't know if she's going to make 8 threes again, but the way that girl was shooting that last game, don't let her beat you.
No. I think once they get into a half-court set, USC is pretty solid, right? They can double, they can triple, they can scramble out and find theirs. They talk, they switch, they go in the zones. Like, they're pretty solid once they get into that half court set. It's that transition that they struggle with.
Yeah.
So, I think the emphasis will be on the shooters, right? Obviously, we all saw that last game, so the scouting report is going to emphasize that.
Right.
In this game, I still got USC without a Juju winning.
Yeah, we agree. Again, like I said, we agree here. No suspense. I do think K-State can beat USC, so it won't be impossible or surprising. But I got USC winning this game.
I think K-State is capable of winning the game against USC. I just don't think.
And I wouldn't have said that if Juju was playing, by the way. That's funny how, like, things change. Like, if Juju was playing, I'd have been like, ain't no way they beating USC. No. But I think it's possible without Juju.
And because Juju isn't playing, that's why I think they're going to lose, right? Because USC now has something bigger than themselves to play for.
Facts. Good point. Good point, Coach.
UConn has to push the tempo. Oklahoma is more of a slow and steady team, right? She likes to slow them down. She likes to go old school basketball. She's putting that thing in the basket, and they just don't have the same caliber of guards that UConn does. All 5 have to be clicking defensively. I love everything about Paige, except sometimes Paige gets lost on defense or she doesn't give the same effort. Maybe because of what our man said earlier, because she's scoring, she can't play defense. But they're gonna need.
She poking fun at you, real money.
To not just win this game and advance to the Elite Eight, to go all the way to the championship game and win it the way that they say that they do. Paige can't take any plays off. Like, she has to be locked in.
Gotta be locked in
until she comes off the floor. So it's gonna take all 5, and then the bench has to contribute. KK Arnold, I think she brings a lot of energy off the bench. KK Arnold also blows a lot of shots off the bench. So KK gotta finish. Like, she has to bring that energy. She has to defend, but she gotta finish. And the bench, I would love for Gino to be able to go a little deeper in his bench. He got some McDonald's All-Americans that's just sitting there collecting dust. They have to contribute. Oklahoma.
To your point, hold on, before you get to Oklahoma, to your point though, Coach, UConn is healthy too. They got healthy at the right time, right? So it's like they clicking on all cylinders right now. AZ Fudd, if Paige don't have a big scoring night, AZ Fudd has a big scoring night, right? Sarah Strong is might be the best. The way she playing might be the best player on the team, right? Like, so it's like they all clicking, like you said, and then that bench just got to come and do what the bench do, because Alfie's also sometimes come in and turn the ball over or something and things like that, So the bench got to come in and just make sure they play solid. But that starting 5, like you said, they healthy and scary right now.
They different right now, like and we haven't been able to see it, like, to finally see that coaching staff's recruiting board or their depth chart in real life. Yeah, big one with that, for sure. Oh, okay. See, okay. Oklahoma, they have to play their game. UConn is going to speed them up, but they got to figure out how to keep the pace that they like to play at, and how to just not get intimidated by UConn.
Yeah.
They battle of the boards between Sarah Strong and just UConn in general. They generally win the battle of the boards. In a lot of games in that college arena, it normally comes down to turnovers and rebounds, right?
Yeah.
And
That's going to be a good matchup, too, between Reagan Bears and Sarah Strong.
I think it'll be an interesting one, right?
Yeah.
Because we'll get to see both bigs outside of their box.
Yeah.
Reagan Bears is a traditional, and I love it because they don't exist no more. She's a traditional back-to-the-back post player.
Yeah.
Sarah Strong is a center that's a stretch, that's a point forward.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Basically. So to see them have to come out and defend different ways than we've seen them have to defend will be interesting to me. And Oklahoma has to get downhill. In the last couple of times they played for that 3, but they got to be able to get downhill to try to get some of UConn in foul trouble. They have to be able to get into UConn's bench just because he doesn't go to the bench. If they can get into the bench, they can get 1 or 2 in foul trouble early. I think they might have a shot at least keeping it close. But hands down, I got UConn over Oklahoma.
Yeah, this is yeah. Before we move on to the next one, what's your thoughts on Aaliyah Chavez picking Oklahoma to be home?
It was interesting, right?
I never would have guessed that.
I got to see her and meet her and talk to her a little bit at Overtime Elite this year. I was able to go down there. And when you're in that room and you see all these baby superstars.
Was Special K there? Because I love her too. Kalani Smith, I think her name is.
So Gigi Banks was there. Gigi, a whole personality, right? Gigi is the person she plays. She plays as if she's just being herself. So all the flash, that's just Gigi. She just a whole ball of energy, right?
Yeah.
Aaliyah Chavez was kind of reserved in a room, and it's kids, so they TikToking, they dancing, I had my daughter with me, so they playing with the baby. Like, it's kids being kids. It's kind of reserved. So personality off the court, Oklahoma makes sense.
Okay. That fits her.
From the little bit that I got to know her, but I would say.
Do you think she stay all 4 years, or do you think this might be a 2-year, kind of like what we see in Arizona with I forget the girl's name. Is it Jada Curry? No, that's not Jada. You know, I can't think of the girl's name, but the point guard and the center just left.
Yeah.
I forget their names.
Man, there's so many kids leaving. There's so many names in my head. I know who you're talking about, though. I don't know. I feel like Aaliyah Chavez is probably super loyal.
Okay. She does give me that vibe, like
right.
Something like she's trying to win a championship there, and
she's trying to build. And it's because where is she from? Is she from Cali? She from Texas? Where's she from?
No, I think she's from New York. If I'm not mistaken. I thought she was from the town. I could have sworn she's from the town.
You about to have me looking that up.
Yeah, I think she's from the town. I'm proud of that. You know what I mean? Don't let me find out you're from the town. Yeah, I think she's from the town. I could be wrong, but I could have sworn I heard she was from the town.
She's from Lubbock, Texas.
Okay. Jada Williams, that's what I was thinking about. Thank you, Jean Gray. See, I love the chat. The chat going, Jean Gray, Jada Williams, and then I forget.
Nothing. I from New York, like nothing.
I could have sworn I saw something somewhere. Listen, bad journal. My apologies. Bad journalism by me. But I could have sworn I saw something from some because I was always hype about that. I'm like, oh yeah, she from the town.
Nothing like her game don't say New York. Like
that's true. But I'm new to the girl game, so if I found out a girl from the town, I'm hyped.
It's the same swag. I'm DMV, and you can tell, even though I'm in the South, right?
That's a fact. Yeah.
I think it's a safe space. I think it's not too far from home. I don't know why, just the way she plays and the reservedness. I think she a homebody, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
I think basketball wise, if she wanted to maybe be pushed a little more, something like that, she could have went somewhere else. But I get
My only question about it is I think her and the Reagan Bears matchup is gonna be amazing. But I think Reagan Bears only gonna be there for a year with her. I think after that she go to the pros. So it's like who they gonna bring in after? They gotta bring in somebody good to play with her so that she can have that 1-2 punch.
this is the thing with the portal the way it is, and with Oklahoma being such a powerhouse, and especially the runs that they've made this year, they're getting more money, right? With more money comes better players. So ain't no telling who gonna transfer in that's gonna want to play with Aaliyah.
That's true. That's true. We see with Kiki, Juju. Kiki came to play with Juju, so who knows who'll come play with Aaliyah.
Sanaa Jackson is in a transfer portal.
Yeah, you want to know that's interesting to me because Tanaya Latson and Flau'jae is in the same draft class, and if you watch that game, Tanaya Lawson was a little spicy. I think she feels some type of way that everybody talks about Flau'jae, and she might feel like I'm a better player than you, and nobody talk about me, right? And they talking about her now, obviously, because what she did this year. But I think she wanted to go someplace to beat LSU. I think she felt some type of way in that loss, and like I want to beat LSU. I want to go to this team, whoever this team is. We could speculate who those teams are, but she want to go to that team so she can compete with LSU. It might be an SEC team. No.
I think she had list of schools that she wanted to go to before. And I think with the numbers she put up this year, them people calling.
Oh, yeah. They definitely calling.
And I think wherever she had her heart set on is before she had to go where she had to go. I think that's where she'll end up.
Got you.
And I think a bag will have a whole lot to do with that decision because
that sound about right. And it kind of makes sense, right? Because her sidekick is going to the NBA, the WNBA this year. So she's losing her second best player in Florida and Michaela Timpson, right? So it's like she probably feel like, all right, it's time for me to go. I'm losing my road dog, my sidekick. Let me go someplace else and try to get a win, try to win a natty. But moving on to US, the rivalry of all rivalries.
The most boring game. It'll be the slowest race to 50, but we are gonna be locked in. For Chapel Hill, they gotta hit outside shots, right? They have to get in gaps and they gotta withstand Duke's runs. Duke has a innate ability to just go on random runs out of nowhere. And by the fifth or sixth run, you see teams just deflate. I think if UNC can handle that, they can make some outshot shots and they can get in them gaps. I think they'll have a chance just because, like a Reagan Richardson, she's staying foul trouble, right?
Yeah.
If you can keep a Reagan on the bench and get a couple others in foul trouble, you got a shot. With Duke, their defense leads to their offense, so they have to be clicking defensively. And defense is kind of who we know them for. They are able to slow everybody down and to slow the game down because they control the defensive. They punch first, right?
Okay.
In any game, you want to walk in the gym and you want to punch first, and you don't want to just punch once. You want to punch twice or three times, and you got to punch hard as hell. And that's what Duke does with their defense. So they're going to let their defense. They have to let their defense lead to offense. They have to score by committee, which is kind of what they do, right? At any point at any night, you know that what's the child Lashes? What's her name?
Lashes. I don't know who you talking about.
20. Lead them all the time. Ashlyn Jackson.
Oh, Ashlyn Jackson. Okay. Yeah, she do have the lashes. Okay.
So Ashlyn's going to have her 15 to 20, maybe even a 25 piece, right? And then Reagan will have about 10 to 12, maybe even a 14, 16 piece. But then you'll have one or two others that make it to double figures. I think as long as they're scoring by committee, and it don't matter who's on the committee, right? As long as they score by committee and they punch first and they keep punching throughout the game, no different than they did with NC State, I think Duke will come out on top, and I have Duke on top.
Okay. I agree with that. I got Duke too. My question is this though. Utsby,
Hmm.
as an undersized forward, how do you think she translate to the WNBA?
I don't. I don't.
She's another because Murrow is 6'1", but we think Murrow translate. Udsby is 6'1". You don't think she's gonna translate?
Anissa Morrow is a monster.
Your dog.
Like she is the monster that your kid screams about is in their closet at 6'1".
Yeah,
Utsby is not that. She
yeah,
wants this ink with Sully and them. Be the one telling the joke. Like, and
yeah.
I like that. She does all the intangibles. I think Utsby will have a great career overseas, maybe playing in some of the other leagues that are now being developed in the States. I just don't. She doesn't translate to the W for me. She doesn't score enough. She's not aggressive enough. It just doesn't translate to me at all.
Gotcha. LSU, NC State. What's your thoughts, Coach?
LSU is going to win this game because
With
they have a monster that my daughter is scared of in their closet, right?
right,
And NC State just doesn't have post presence, right? So they don't have anybody that can mesh with that. And with Samaya Smith playing the way that she's playing, we've watched this kid grow up in front of our very eyes.
just had 20 in her last game.
In one season, we watched her go from being scared in the first game to having 20 in the last, talking, not even talking stuff, but like just talking. It's so hard to get kids to communicate. I'm like, how do you play basketball and you don't talk? Like, it makes no sense to me.
Right.
But we've watched her grow up. I know for a fact that NC State does not have any answers for the two of them on the inside. LSU has to play like a team. They have been playing some of the most selfless basketball in the last few weeks that I've seen them play in the last few years, right? Extra passes. The extra passes alone, when you have three big players that can score, and now they got four players that are capable of 20-point nights. That's just scary. Yeah. They still play like a team.
But Kayla Williams is so smooth.
Man, she don't get enough recognition at all.
Yeah.
Talk about her, but they don't talk about her nearly as much as they should. I think where LSU is going to struggle, though, is that they don't have a point guard, right? Their point guard is by committee. They got 5 point guards, and they rotate. None of them are what Kim Mulkey needs.
Yeah.
So the point guard committee has to not just manage the floor, but they have to figure out how to score and be a threat on offense, too. Because a lot of times when they do come in the game, unless Kaylin Gilbert is playing against Tennessee, which that bothered me. Unless she's playing against Tennessee where she's going to play hard, they don't really score. So they kind of have to score and manage the floor. And then they got to, as a whole, they just have to have pressure the entire time. Because they're playing against Isaiah James, who at any point in time going for 40.
Yeah.
For NC State, they have to force and convert on turnovers. They can't just force turnovers. They got to actually score on them. They have to stay locked in and limit their mental lapses. NC State has mental lapses out of nowhere for no reason. Like nothing will happen and they'll just forget what they're doing or dribble off their foot. Like, and it happens to them all the time. Like they can't have those mental lapses. And then their posts have to step up. And my fourth key, NC State got to choose if they're going to play, right? I get so frustrated. And all of the people that I talk to, everybody gets frustrated because you don't know which NC State team is coming out of that locker room. You just don't know. Like, they don't play hard consistently. Some days it look like they don't even care that they play basketball.
Yeah.
It's LSU's going to win this game because NC State has way too many elements.
Yeah, to your point, I agree with everything you said because, piggybacking on what you said about NC State, I'm a quantify into a player. I've been really high on Sanaya Rivers for the past year or so, but it's hard for me. Remember what I said about Deja Kelly? It's hard for me to champion you if you're not putting out the type of effort that I need to champion you, and she's so inconsistent. Like, sometimes she come out and have games that she just had the last game, and I'm like, okay, this is the Sanaya I need to see. But then she comes out and you know, don't really play up to her potential. And it's weird because you got a WNBA body, you got a WNBA skill set, but it's like it seemed like you struggle, and I don't know. I don't know what it is.
I was talking to somebody and I was like, watching Anaya Rivers play is like watching somebody choose to play Mario Kart on the hard level. It's like she do stuff and she makes it more difficult than it has to be for no reason. And then you lose the ball or you shoot an air ball. Like I imagine that she's an overthinker, right?
Yeah.
From the way that she plays. I just imagine that she's an overthinker and that mentally she goes through some things throughout the flow of an actual game. But she turns the level of difficulty up on easy stuff for no reason. Her decision making is so questionable. Like I think it's great that she runs point. I don't think she has the mental capacity to run point in March Madness as a senior.
Yeah.
She just zone out too much for me.
Well, good thing, she plays with
the ball. I'm putting her on the wing and I'm letting her shoot and get downhill.
Good thing she plays on a team with Zai James and Zoe Brooks, is she don't have to have the ball all the time.
The other kid, Zoe Brooks. I'd love to see Zoe play like herself consistently, right? You see Zoe in spurts. You'll see Zoe flash every now and then. Zoe's capable of a 20 and 20 night, a triple double. I'm sorry. She's capable of a 20, 10, and 10 night every night. Like, especially with the scoring pieces around her. I just wish I could see Zoe more often. I feel like he got on a short little leash.
Yeah. All right, we got Maryland and South Carolina coach. What's your thoughts?
South Carolina.
Exactly.
All the keys to success. I would love to see what Brenda Freese is going to say, right?
Yeah.
How to motivate your team for this game when the bench outscores the starting five.
That was going to be my point. They so deep.
Like, I don't. Maryland, I think for Maryland to keep it from being a blowout, right? They have to have ball movement and get in the gaps. They have to figure out Maryland is not a super fast-paced team, right? They have to have some form of a transition defense. And then they have to be great on the interior. You got Chloe Kitts that you got to defend. You got Sanaya Fagan. You have freaking Joyce Edwards, who is – I watched Joyce since she was a sophomore.
To me, she their best forward, and she come off the bench.
I've watched that kid since she was a sophomore in high school, and she has been a monster since then. And she just gets better and better and better. And watching Maryland the other night, their post play reminds me of an NC State. It's just not good post play. It's kind of lazy post defense. They have front. Even when they post, they have posting. You can't read numbers. As a guard in college, we taught if we could see the numbers on the chest, throw the ball. If I see this, I'm not throwing it because it's my turnover. Like, you ain't ready for it.
Yeah.
They got to be good on the interior. And for South Carolina, they just have to be South Carolina, right? I think one of the keys for South Carolina that I didn't put on here, I think Tahina Powell got to figure out how to be a shooter again. I think she spent so much time in the summer getting better at getting downhill.
The floater and, yeah.
Getting downhill that she didn't really stay as consistent with her threes. I think she has to be better from the three-point line. I think Raven has to start knocking some more shots down.
Yes.
She has to start knocking some more shots down. I don't think anybody will fade off of her or play off of her as much as a Caitlin Clark and Iowa did, but I'm not. I'm helping more on the inside, or I'm the other one to Malaysia before I come out to Raven. So I think they got to get better at their shooting threes and just knocking shots to go back and get another championship.
So your point, Coach, I'm with you, South Carolina, but I'm gonna be watching this game because I don't know how familiar you are with me, and I don't know where you stand on this, but I'm not huge on Cheyenne Sellers. I think she's a. To me, my opinion of Cheyenne is she's good at a lot of things, but not great at anything. Right. And she's 6'2". She is 6'2" point. So that's where her value comes, is the fact that she's that big and can dribble the ball. To your point about posting, that's to me probably their best post player, because that's how she plays, right? She drives into the mid range and then she posts and get her little a drive spin going, or whatever the case may be. She's a little injured right now, so I don't know how effective she's going to be. But the player that impressed me is
the little boy guard.
I'm gonna butcher her name, Piazzu, and Tia. Help me in the chat. Y'all be posting it. That's the players. That's the players. South Carolina gonna have to watch, because if you leave that little girl alone, she gonna knock that shot down. You know what I'm saying? Schmeichel plays inconsistent. You know, you don't. She's one of those players, like you said earlier. You don't know what Schmeichel you're gonna get. You know, and she likes attacking the basket. So sometimes, she attacks and get her shots off, or sometimes she out there just being a liability. So she's gonna have to play this South Carolina. So they're gonna have to come in prepared and be ready to play. But this game, I'm gonna be really watching Cheyenne Sellers. Win or lose, again, like I said about Kiki earlier, win or lose, I'm gonna be watching how you play. She did impress me in the Alabama game, not because she did anything special. The players that the players that brought them back was Schmeichel and that point guard. I can't think of her name right now.
Game the whole time.
Yeah. So that's the players that brought them back. But when Cheyenne came back, because she was in foul trouble, when she came back into the game after they done bought the lead back, she made winning plays, and I respected that. I do watch what you do in crunch time. I do watch what you do in playoff situations and high intensity situations, and I'll judge you off of that. Cheyenne stepped up and she took the shots, the threes when she needed it, because that was really my knock on her. She don't shoot enough from three for me, but she took the three she needed to take. She attacked the basket, dished to her teammates when she needed to. So that made me say, okay, she might be better than I give her credit for. I like that. So I want to see what she's doing. Win or lose, because we both got South Carolina winning. I want to see what she do in this game. If she play well, even in a loss, and make winning plays and give her team a chance to win, I give her that credit. But I'm not that high on Cheyenne Sellers personally.
I agree. I think I'm from Brenda Freeze has been coaching Maryland since I was in high school. I remember Brenda Freeze in the art gym while we was practicing.
That's a dope name, by the way. Brenda Freeze.
For her to be at Maryland the whole time, and for the first time that I'm really hearing about her is her senior year, is a little different for me. That's a little bit of a red flag. I
said that the other day.
Like, that's a little bit of a red flag. And everybody was talking about her, and when I finally watched it, she got hurt. And now that she's back, I'm certain she's not playing the same that she was playing before, because she's injured. She has that brace on, which is constricting. Those braces are very, very constricting, and not comfortable.
I respect the heart, though. The fact that you want to play hurt, not many people would do that. So I respect that.
But I mean, for her, we'll see. She's a senior. We'll see. But Sarah Tibiasu.
There we go. That's the name, Tibiasu. She got a jump shot, and she 5'5". I'm not that. Not to cut you off, Coach. I'm not that high on 5'5" guards, right? That's why I asked you about not Gianna Neepkins, Georgia Amore. But some of them could play if you got a little dog in you, right? Like somebody let her dog go. I'm not worried about her on the next level, right? This Tiabatsu girl is making me feel like she could play on that next level. It's a girl on USC too, that point guard that come off the bench. She could, you know what I'm talking about. She got a little dog on her. Like it's certain players that you could be like, okay, yeah, like you said about Georgia Amore. Now the size ain't gonna be a problem at all. That's what Tia Basu give me with her offensive ability. Like defensively, she might be a little scrappy too, because I think she one of those players that got one of those steals off Sarah Ashley Barker at the end of that game.
So looking at her bio, the kid is from Canada. So when I was on the collegiate level, of course, I recruit a bunch of Americans. I recruit all across the country. But it was something different about Canadians. They just play hard every game. High school game, AAU game, pickup game. They posting something on they social. They just play hard. And after seeing her play and now knowing that she's from Canada, she played like a Canadian.
It makes sense.
I like her. I think she'll get an invite. I don't know. I didn't watch Maryland enough to speak on if I think she's going to translate. Right. The last game I saw.
From what I saw, this game and like I said, a couple of games. I'm going strictly off the shooting ability. When you can shoot that well, right, and then she runs the difference between her and again, this is why Georgia Amore probably will translate. I'm a Chicago Sky fan. Somebody like her name escaping me, Dana Evans. I think what Dana Evans' problem is she is shooting guard in the point. She's not a point guard, but she 5'5". Whereas this Tia Basu woman, she gives me point guard. Like she got the ball in her hands. Though. Like she's making when the ball's down in Cheyenne Sellers' hands, the ball is in her hands and she's making plays. So that's telling me that she could be like a Jordan Canada on the next level and had a ball in her hands and be effective and make plays. But she got a Jimmy though. Like her shot, different.
She's shooting 45% from the 3-point line.
She's somebody you can't leave open. You leave her open. You help off that. That's what happened in that game, coach. You help off for a second bucket. You can't leave this girl.
She shoot better from the 3-point line than she do from the field. She's 61 for 135, so she efficient. She ain't just jacking it. She don't take a lot of shots at all. The last few games are her best games. Okay. She had 26 at Oregon a couple months ago. Then she had 20 at Penn State. A couple of other double-figure games. And then she got some low-scoring games. She starts. She's a consistent starter. She kind of got to be. She transferred up from VCU, so that speaks volumes. She transferred up from VCU and she starts. But in the tournament, she been on something different. So she had 25 against Michigan, 22 against Norfolk State, 26 against Alabama. The game right before the Michigan game was Ohio State. She had 15.
Like I said, she the reason she brought them back. Like she the reason they advancing. Is not Cheyenne. Like that's what even when I saw Cheyenne had 28, it surprised me because I'm like, when did she drop 28?
It was a quiet 28.
Yeah.
But she the game the whole time. Like Alabama would go on runs and you look up and Alabama would be up by about 5 to 6 points.
Yeah.
Here she come with a tough pull mid-range joint in the middle of the paint or range 3. Like she kept them
into the line.
Here.
Yeah. All right.
Texas, Tennessee. I think this will be a good game.
Yeah.
I think this will be a good game. Tennessee is playing. You could tell they're playing for something bigger than themselves right now. They look better. They have to force and convert on their turnovers. I don't know how much they're going to be able to turn Texas over. Texas takes really good care of that basketball. Tennessee has to take care of the ball. They play like a team full of Sanaya Rivers.
Mm-hmm.
At any point in time, they're going to do something crazy. But with the way that Kim Caldwell coaches, that's just kind of what happens. Yeah. And then they the battle on the boards. I think for Texas, they have to be able to handle the press. That was where Texas struggled with South Carolina both times. They couldn't handle that pressure, and Tennessee is going to bring the pressure. They have to go inside. Tennessee's interior defense, they foul a lot. So they got to go inside. And then Texas has to be good in transition D. We all know that Tennessee is just an athletic team. I think if Tennessee comes out and they start if they knock a 3 or 2, they remind me of.
You gotta watch out.
Yeah, they remind me of K-State. Only one person on the whole squad. Got to see it going for the whole squad.
Yeah, and they all hot. They all heat up.
Everybody. So, I think it'll be a good game. I got Texas in this one. I think Texas is just poised for the long run. I don't think Tennessee has I just don't think they have the experience to go further than where they are. But I love the fact that Kim Caldwell has brought her system from Glenville State to Marshall to Tennessee, and I love the fact that it's translating the way that I'm gonna speak about it because everybody else does, and I have actually experienced being on the other side of the court from her coaching against her. The way that she subbed, she was doing that at Glenville State, her Division II, and back then she was carrying a roster of 23 people, subbing 5 at a time. Every 2-3 minutes. And they picking you up the same way you see them kids as soon as they score, standing on the baseline, waiting on you, like not even letting you pick the ball up.
Yeah.
That's how she does it. And it works. Man, when I say you can have the most in shape team, like every year we played them, we was winning championship because we in shape.
Yeah.
You're not in that type of shape.
Coach, let me ask you this question about Texas, because I agree with you. I got Texas 1-2. But here's my problem with Texas, and this is versus anybody they play. Texas don't shoot enough threes for me, and I don't know if their defense is good enough to stop a good 3-point shooting team, right? So what I mean by that is I love the way Madison Booker get her points. I love where she scores at on the, she like that little short corner shot. Rory Harmon is going to try to get to the free throw line and get hers. You got what's her name? Taylor Jones. I think it's Taylor Jones down there. She's solid in the paint, but they do not shoot a lot of threes. And I think that's what could get them got on any night. So, like, even what you're saying about Texas, if they Tennessee, if they see one go in and they start running in transition and shooting that ball, it's going to be a long night for Texas. But that's my only issue with them. I feel like if you're going to play the way they play, which is going to shoot like maybe 3 threes a game, your defense got to be like the best defense in the country. Then
I think I agree with you. And in the beginning of the season, he wasn't shooting no threes, right? He wasn't even his point shooting. But after going through some tumultuous times and realizing, hey, this is the SEC, I got to play different. Brianna Preston, the freshman, quick as lightning freshman. She's a solid defender, and she gets to her spots very well. She scores, and it's unorthodox. She play off a bounce. Her game does not look like a Vic Schaefer type of game that he would. Okay. They also got Jordan Lee, the other freshman. She kind of shoots some threes. She can hit them. And he's letting his freshmen actually play. And then Shea Holly. If Shea Holly comes out.
Holly can shoot a little bit. Yeah.
She hits 1 or 2. The question is, because defensively, I think that I know that they got enough fight in them, right? My only question, the only thing that ever scares me about Texas is Madison Booker. Madison sees bright lights, and sometimes
cold.
Sometimes tears. The good thing for Texas is that they've played Tennessee before, so hopefully she always does better in those big games after she's seen a team once, right?
Yeah.
They beat South Carolina the second time because she's seen them once. The first time she did. Madison Booker is my only question, but I think with him finally letting those freshmen play, I think he'll be fine.
Okay. UCLA and Ole Miss, coach.
UCLA is going to win this game. They need a lot of paint touches. They got to get – when things aren't going well for UCLA, they sometimes forget that the only reason that they matter right now is Lauren Betts and they don't pass her the ball.
That's true.
Lauren Betts has to touch the ball. Whether she turns to score or not does not matter, but the ball has to go inside to come back outside. It cannot just outside. So they need a lot of point touches. They have to be tough and punch first and hard. UCLA is not – they're just not a tough team.
Or do you feel like they pretenders, or do you feel like they are the team to beat? Because that's the two knocks you get. That's the two things people say about them. Either they the team to beat UCLA in this tournament, or they not as they overhyped. Where you put them at?
I think they might be overhyped. I don't think that they're tough, right? Like when I look at an Ole Miss, the one thing that I know that they gonna do, they a bunch of dogs and they gonna fight.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know that about UCLA. I don't know that if I smack if I walk up and I go smack that bully not gonna run away. I don't go turn around and smack back. I've seen them not smack back. When they finally got punched, I did not see them punch back.
Yeah.
And the one kid that I did see punch back, DMV stand up, Kiki just she don't score enough.
Yeah.
Which is one of my keys to the game. Kiki gotta score. She has to score. Kiki has the ability to score. She can get downhill. She can shoot in the range. She can shoot the three. Like she got it. She got to score. And for Ole Miss, they have to stay out of foul trouble. Ole Miss is consistently in foul trouble. Their better players are consistently in foul trouble. Another DMV native, DMV Madison. What's Madison?
Madison Scott.
Maddie Scott, Bishop McNamara High School.
That's my point to your point, Coach, was going to be Madison Scott and KK Dean. I don't see them. I don't see Ole Miss having a chance winning. Like UCLA winning this game, but KK Dean and Madison Scott gotta perform.
They have to, and they are both inconsistent. Like, and that bothers me to say that about Maddie because she's from home and like. I know the people that train her. I know her high school coaches. Like I've seen this kid for years. It bothers me to see how inconsistent she has been and how she just got to college and her game just kind of changed because she should be a first round draft pick this year. Right? She's not that. They have to put an emphasis on bets. So meaning they got to dig. They have to double. They might have to triple. Everybody has to give a hand and a foot help, and then they got to scramble out of that. I don't know that Ole Miss is capable of playing that style of defense without getting lost. And then they got to play for all 40 minutes. They take too many breaks for me. They take too many plays off. It's like they're not in shape.
Yeah.
So I got LA winning this one.
Yeah, we agree there.
Notre Dame, TCU. I have Notre Dame winning. But Notre Dame has to play team over me. I think at times Hannah Hidalgo, as good as she is, it becomes a Hannah show and not the Notre Dame show. And and then Olivia comes trying to make up for that, so we got to be the Olivia show.
They want to see more of you, Coach.
Well, I really appreciate it. Thank you. I'll do it again.
Make sure y'all go subscribe to her too. Subscribe to her channel. Nate, what's your channel? How can they search it, Coach?
Coach Shamika Jones. I'm the same one.
Coach Shamika Jones. One of my admins, if y'all could find it, post her channel in the chat so people could click on it. Can you see the chat, Coach? You know how to see it?
Pop up right here. But
so if you look on the side, you're gonna see something that says chat. All you gotta do is click it, and then you'll see all this stuff populate. If you don't click it, it won't populate. You see on the right, I think it should be on the right side of your screen.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Do you think Juju going to the NBA G League or overseas? Definitely going to the NBA.
Yeah, that's a silly question. They talking about they talking about Angels Juju. Because he said NBA. I'm thinking he mean Juju Watkins. I think he talking about, Angel little brother name is Juju.
It is. I think he goes to the league. I think he needs some more development before he go up. I think the superstarness went with
post it. I'm sorry, Coach. Gamble, post it where it's clickable. So if you go to her page, some of y'all know how to do it. If you go to her page and you click the share and then you share it in here, it should be a clickable link. And then make sure y'all all go subscribe to her page. She does shorts. She does a lot of shorts. She got a show. What's the name of your show, Coach? I forgot the name of it. What's the name of the show you do? Oh, did we lose Coach? But yeah, me and Coach both agree. That Notre Dame winning this game. Yeah, like that, but it's supposed to be clickable. I don't know why y'all almost got it just like that though. It's supposed to be a clickable link. But Coach, you back with me, right?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. What you were saying?
So Notre Dame, it can't just be the Hannah or the Olivia show. It got to be everybody. And they got to find Sonny more. Sonia Citron is probably, in my opinion, the best player on the team, and they don't utilize her enough because it becomes the Hannah show or the Olivia show. They can't quit. We see them, including Neil Ivy, and I think she's a great coach. When it gets tough, they all kind of just put their heads down. So they got to fight for 40 minutes because TCU and Haley Van Lift, she got something to prove. They got to fight. TCU's not going to lay down. TCU has to limit turnovers. Everybody has to score, like everybody. And then they got to get a lot of paint touches, just like UCLA. Sometimes Sedona Prince don't touch that ball, and she has to touch the ball. She demands enough attention to touch the ball. But either way, I still got Notre Dame winning this game.
Yeah, we agree there. Notre Dame's definitely winning, but they could be beat. Obviously, TCU beat them early in the season, so we know that they could be beat. Coach, what's the name of the show you do? That's what I was asking. What's the name of the show you do on your page? I forgot the name of it.
Next Possession.
There you go.
I've been in the gym, so I coach AAU. Very super high level AAU. So like Joyce Edwards, Malaysia Fowali, a lot of the best talent that we're watching right now came through the program that I coach with. So when I go in the gym, like I missed the whole first round because we in the gym from 7 a.m. to 11 at night. You don't get a lot of AAU practice time. I'm so tired still. I don't even remember why I said that, but I missed the last week, so I'm gonna do a show this week. But I try to do a weekly recap throughout the season, and I'm gonna take it to the W. Obviously, we're gonna follow these kids all the way through. But I do a weekly recap, just saying everything. I take certain clips as I'm watching games. I break them down so I can really teach the game. One of the reasons that I don't coach collegiately anymore is to start a business where I could really teach the game. So I break down clips when I see good basketball or bad basketball. So I don't have to watch bad basketball. None of us want to watch bad basketball. So I try to take my gift of basketball insight and share it with the world. So if you follow me on the socials. When you see something that resonates, just share it so we can continue to elevate the game, right? It's all about elevation. Want to elevate the game as much as possible.
Yeah, man. So, listen, man, I enjoyed this show, Coach. It seemed like everybody else did as well. Appreciate your analysis on how you broke the game down. Like I said, I feel like this is one of the best breakdowns of the tournament thus far. We got to do it again once we get to Final Four championship game, and give people a breakdown of that. But I really enjoyed the show, Coach. What's your thoughts on the show?
Oh man, I loved it. I'm up way later than I'm supposed to be.
I apologize for that. I've been trying to. We stopped and had a conversation. I was like, no, we gotta get back to the show. I'm like, let me get back to the show. Coach got to.
You have to crack it on. But no, I enjoyed it. It's really good to be able to talk basketball, right? In a place that understands basketball. It's a lot of new women's basketball fans that just watch for the highlights that aren't looking at stat sheets. So I appreciate you taking the time to really learn the game and to learn the players and to speak to it, not just from a passionate place, but from an intelligent place. You can tell that you study the game. So I'd love to do it again.
Yeah, appreciate that. We definitely going to do it again. Man, listen, if y'all enjoyed the show, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, go over to Coach's channel. I posted it in the chat. Subscribe to her channel, show her some love, jump in her comments. And we're going to do this again real soon for you guys. But until then, I need everybody to have a blessed night.
Peace.
Get some rest, Coach.
Man, good night.